Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. The council elected to represent the state's second largest city is tonight in disarray. Councillors passing a vote of no confidence in Launceston Mayor Matthew Garwood for bringing the reputation of the city into disrepute after he posed online with a controversial US rapper.
From the outset, he was a leader under siege.
Mayor, I stand to move a notice of motion from the floor to express no confidence in Councillor Matthew Garwood.
Okay. A mayor sidelined as his council pulls its support. The no confidence motion accusing Matthew Garwood of bringing the council into disrepute and failing to lead the community.
I believe he's done something that's inherently wrong. To bring controversy to this council, to this city.
It all stems from the mayor's role in recent online controversy. Last week, he posted a photo with US singer and convicted criminal Ronnie Radke, who then went on a vulgar rant attacking councillors Lindy McMahon and Andrea Dawkins.
You're a disgrace to your entire city and town, and I'm going to make sure that you feel this one.
Their life was threatened through messages received over the internet and through telephone calls.
Those councillors both absent today.
The reason that they're unable to come to work today is because they feel unsafe to do so.
The mayor strongly criticised for his social media usage since.
Certain decisions were made and I'm not in agreement with those decisions. There was ample time for the post to be taken down.
The mayor also coming face to face with a local businesswoman who was at the receiving end of a Radke tirade.
Are you going to stop using your mayoral card for mic drop moments for personal gratification? Thank you.
So what does this mean? It won't impact the mayor's position because he is an elected representative. But with a declining support from his colleagues, it begs the question, can he continue? The only person who can decide that is Matthew Garwood himself. Victoria Risto, 7 Tasmania News.
The human remains of a Tasmanian Aboriginal elder have finally arrived in Hobart after decades of campaigning to return him from a Scottish university. He'll now be laid to rest in the Central Highlands, where he was a warrior of the Big River tribe.
An emotional homecoming for these human remains, returning to safe hands after 170 years away from where they belong.
Today we welcome home Andrea and Jeanette. We welcome home the body of our old people who was a chief from the Big River tribe who fought to protect his country and his lands.
Jeanette and Andre tasked with the long journey to Scotland, sent to bring home the skull of a Tasmanian Aboriginal man, which featured as part of a collection at the University of Aberdeen for decades.
His remains were sent to Scotland sometime in the 1800s, but there's very little known about exactly who that young man is.
A shell necklace made by a woman in the Bass Strait Islands in the 1880s, also retrieved from the University of Glasgow. It's the first overseas return of a cultural item to Tasmanian Aborigines in 27 years.
The return of those items had been in negotiation for some years.
Plans are now underway for the man to be laid to rest. His remains set to be returned to where they were initially taken from, somewhere along the Shannon River in the Central Highlands. But the job is far from over, with other remains currently earmarked to be returned to Tasmania.
It's becoming more and more morally unacceptable to be withholding those remains from their communities of origin, and we hope to see some of those remains returned back to country soon.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
A West Moona man has faced court charged with attempted murder following an alleged crime spree in Hobart yesterday. The 55-year-old is also accused of starting a house fire in West Moona and stealing a car before crashing through a Qantas call centre.
A normal working day at Hobart's Qantas call centre quickly descending into chaotic scenes. Hundreds of shaken workers forced to evacuate after a car ploughed through the front entrance of the Goodwood building. Officers quickly arresting the driver accused of being armed with a weapon. Police allege it was the culmination of a violent series of events creating 3 separate crime scenes in Hobart's suburbs. this morning charging 55-year-old James Eric Lachlan Borth with 12 offences, among them attempted murder. The West Moona man is also accused of arson, unlawfully setting fire to a property, assault and committing an act that led to the death of an animal, and charged with stealing motor vehicle theft, evading police, dangerous driving and unlawfully damaging property. Luckily, only one person was injured during the course of the morning. The man remained emotionless when he faced the Hobart Magistrates Court briefly this morning and did not enter a plea. The hearing was adjourned and he'll return to court on April 17. Rebecca Gaidaneris, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, contentious federal legislation to protect fish farming in Macquarie Harbour has passed the Senate. Labor and Liberal senators voting in favour of the bill, despite strong environmental concerns from the Greens.
This is a sad, sad day for environment protection in Australia.
This bill would address a critical problem in our current laws. It's a problem that puts jobs, investment and individual livelihoods at risk.
Senator Hanson Young's stunt, bringing dead salmon to the Senate chamber yesterday, has attracted international media attention to the issue. The privatisation of government-owned businesses would lead to the loss of thousands of jobs, according to Unions Tasmania. The Land Titles Office is a public asset that's currently earmarked for potential sale, with the union threatening industrial action if nothing is done.
With the privatisation of the Land Titles Office in New South Wales, for example, their costs increased 1,900%.
Our public service is already under incredible strain, and we cannot afford less jobs and having our public assets flogged off to the mainland.
The state government says such claims are scaremongering and it's sticking by its GBE reform plan. It won't be known exactly how much taxpayers will fork out for the East Devonport Spirit Berth. The TT Line's chair telling a parliamentary committee a cost can't be locked in, also explaining what could happen when it hits its debt ceiling in September.
A project in rough waters. TT Line's chair fronting the Public Accounts Committee on the status of the East Devonport berth development.
The project is under cost pressure.
Unable to provide a concrete estimate due to negotiations between it and head contractor BMD over the project.
Cost and time is never guaranteed at any stage of an infrastructure project, and it is not useful to release updated information every time something positive or negative happens.
Confirming the contract cost with BMD is fluid, allowing any further modifications to the design.
Where there's an opportunity to modify the design to accommodate what's actually there, and in some cases will be cheaper or more expensive.
TT Line, is now really looking at how can they rework, the timelines around when we could possibly see Berth 3 delivered.
The ferry operator meeting with Tascorp next Monday to submit draft financial forecasts accounting a scenario where it will reach its debt ceiling by September.
They will go straight to the worst case scenario and say, what can you afford under the worst case scenario? That'll be, that's what you expect a financier to do.
An updated figure of the cost of keeping Spirit 4 in Scotland provided.
So I think we previously reported that up to the end of December it was 1.005 million total costs. As at the end of February, we are 2.733 million.
I think the community wants to see this project delivered as soon as possible. This has put Tasmania on an international stage, but for all of the wrong reasons.
The committee also hearing Spirit 1 will be required to dry dock in Singapore in July due to the unavailability of space in Sydney, adding 5 extra days of the ship being out of action. Mark Zita, 7 Tasmania News.
The federal government is yet to issue a lifeline to Hobart Zinc Works after New Star's parent company, Trafigura, hinted at potentially shutting the smelter down, labelling it uneconomical. Premier Jeremy Rockcliffe has already written to the Prime Minister to see what can be done to support the plant's 500 workers.
This has been a success story, this company for us here in Tasmania, so obviously the Premier is right in there advocating for what we can do to keep them afloat.
But a federal government spokesperson says commercial decisions are a matter for the company. Thieves have targeted a popular Launceston cafe, causing more than $1,000 worth of damage, allegedly breaking a glass window and taking cash from the register around 1:30 this morning. Aroma's Cafe taking to Facebook, calling out two people who were captured on CCTV moving around the register.
It's very frustrating because you work so hard, all business owners do. I get up super early every day, come in and you just try and do your best, and people come in and they take advantage.
Cafe owner Zach commending the early morning regulars who helped him clean up the mess so he could get back to business as usual. The illicit tobacco trade is taking profits away from licensed small store holders and putting them into the hands of organised crime, according to Tasmania's Small Business Council. The organisation calling for the state government to take more action against the cigarette black market.
Not only is it now tobacco, it's obviously going to be vapes. They are the new tobacco. They are the tobacco of the 21st century. And those vapes will be equally available under the counter in illegal supply.
This is something that can have a lasting impact and a permanent impact on the health of a society and the business community as well.
The state government says it is committed to curbing vaping, recently passing legislation through both houses of Parliament. Some of Tasmania's most talented writers have been recognised for their work at the Hedberg in Hobart. The winners securing prizes across 7 categories at the Tasmanian Literary Awards, with 4 taking home the People's Choice Award. The cohort sharing in $125,000 prize money, which may possibly be invested into their next literary creation. The Cancer Council is calling for prevention to be a key focus of the state government's cancer plan. The group's CEO says increased investment is needed before a diagnosis, so Tasmanians are aware of avoidable risk factors like smoking and UV exposure. Also calling for extra support for patients.
Supportive care, so when someone is diagnosed, these areas are prioritised, so it can be funded appropriately to give the Tasmanians the support and information they need.
The cancer plan is set to be completed and released soon. Hobart City Mission is gearing up for its annual Sleep Rough event, but this year there will be a twist. Schools can now register their own sleepover, all in a bid to raise awareness for those sleeping on the street.
With sleeping bags at the ready, Spencer and Sylvie are putting their hand up to join the fight against homelessness.
We're doing it mainly because we realise what other people don't have that we have.
The cottage school in Bellreeve signing up for Hobart City Mission's Sleep Rough, Sleep Out initiative.
We know what we're going to eat, we know what we're going to have. We don't know, but they don't really know if they're going to have something to eat.
In Tasmania, there are currently around 5,000 people on the public housing wait list.
That's people who are sleeping in cars, sleeping in tents, sleeping on couches.
An event to be hosted next month will see members of the public experience what that's like, sleeping rough for a night at Salamanca PW1.
It's not easy, but equally it's nowhere near as hard as those that are really doing it tough in our community.
This year there's a push for more young people to get on board, with schools able to register their own sleepover during the month of May.
There are around about 300 people at least in southern Tasmania alone sleeping rough every night, and we know that the 12 to 24 age group are a major part of the cohort that are currently sleeping rough.
Their fundraising target, $300,000.
So those funds will go directly to buy food, provide emergency accommodation and to help to get people into housing.
To register your school or donate, head to the Hobart City Mission website. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
The search is on for Southern Tasmania's most promising, emerging and experienced artists, with entries to the 2025 Autumn Photography Competition flowing in. Photographers of all skill levels are encouraged to enter, helping to showcase the unique autumn landscapes in the State South.
Last year we had nearly 1,000 entries. This year we've actually already got a few loaded up. People have spotted it out there already. We've got about 68 entries already.
Entries close on May 18. More than 6,000 Tasmanian households have taken advantage of their Energy Saver loan scheme since 2022, according to the state regulator. The scheme offers support for energy-efficient upgrades and products.
More than $51 million has been activated to make Tasmanian homes
more energy efficient.
The Saver scheme allowed me to purchase a battery, and that allowed me to increase electrification of the whole home. I really don't pay an electric bill anymore, so it's helped enormously.
Tasmania reportedly has some of the highest uptake rates in rooftop solar in the country. Hobart City High School is in line for new STEM and art facilities, with the state government committing to a $23 million redevelopment. The upgrades have been in the pipeline for years and hope to provide new learning opportunities for students.
It's about updating and upgrading, but also about building collaborative spaces so that we can sort of adapt in more contemporary ways to how we use learning spaces.
This was very much came to fruition through the voices of students.
Construction is expected to be completed before school starts next year.
It's been a great day on the water for the Tasmania University Boat Club at Lake Barrington. Callum Wigston winning gold in the Under-17 Men's Piper Cup at the Australian Rowing Championships, followed by a second-placed effort by Noah Hassey in the Under-19 Men's Thomas Keller Memorial Trophy, while it was a bronze finish for bronze in the Under-23 Men's Single Scull Final. Tasmanian Samuel Mounter edging out competitor Jack Power by 0.15 of a second. Hobart cyclist Jonas Shelverton has picked up the first medal for Tasmania at the National Track Cycling Championships in Brisbane. He narrowly missed out on the top spot, taking out silver, just half a second behind winner Sam Washington in the men's under-19 time trial final. In the CTPL, and University and Kingborough are set to do battle in an epic three-day grand final at Ninja Stadium as they prepare for tomorrow's first grade Red Ball final. The Knights are coming into the match on top of the ladder, while Uni are eyeing off a three-peat after already winning the T20 and the Kookaburra Cup 50-over titles this season.
We're going to need a few people to step up. A few people, someone to take a hanger, someone to get a run out.
Been super consistent, but as I said earlier, you can't afford to have a bad hour or two, especially against a quality side like Uni.
It won't be easy for the Knights though, with superstars Boy Webster and Jake Weatherolds unavailable for the matchup. And it's not just our players putting Tasmania firmly on the cricket world's map. After the Men's T20 World Cup and back-to-back Australian Umpire of the Year awards, Sam Nagoski has been added to the ICC Emerging Panel of Umpires. During his time on the panel, he'll be considered for a call-up to the elite level, which only has 12 umpires worldwide. Wishing him the best of luck, Kim.
He's certainly had a great career. Thank you very much, Victoria. Well, Peter Murphy will join us after the break with the weather forecast.
Good evening. Hobart, Devonport and Burnie all 21 today. Launceston's 25 was the state's warmest. After Liaweenie, though, posted the low overnight of -1. Ooze Grove and the Bass Strait Islands 23, Low Head and Friendly Beaches 21, Liaweenie and Strawn got to 20 and it was 19 today at St Helens. Clear skies over most of the state with no rain reported from the patchy cloud that swept over the state this afternoon. A low near the Queensland Northern Territory border has thick cloud with it there, with masses of cloud over the tropics and the Kimberley regions. Moist onshore winds are driving cloud over Victoria and southern New South Wales. Tomorrow a high moves to our east, directing a warm light northerly airstream over the state. Heavy rainfall continues over the mainland under the influence of those troughs up there. Winds mostly north-northeasterly to 20 knots, but up to 25 knots over the east. Swells to 3 metres in southern waters. 25 for Hobart and Huonville tomorrow, a sunny afternoon. Cloud clearing also from Campania, 27 the maximum. Launceston tomorrow, a high of 25 and mostly sunny, bit of cloud but fine for Devonport, 21, 21 for Georgetown as well. Burnie expecting 21 and partly cloudy. Cloud clearing from Strawn and 23, just a 40% chance of a shower over Wynyard and 21 degrees. St Helens partly cloudy but fine, 22, 25 and mostly sunny for Swansea. Port Arthur partly cloudy and 22 degrees tomorrow. To the weekend, on Saturday the winds will shift cooler from the south, bringing a few light showers, maybe not so much over the central north north and northeast. A higher chance of showers over the east and south on Sunday though, otherwise fine and partly cloudy. And on Monday a few more showers over the east and south. Fine warm weather for Perth, Adelaide and Melbourne tomorrow. Showers increasing over Canberra and Sydney, and of course heavier rain band there ready to wash over Brisbane and southeast Queensland. Showers and storms for the other far northern centres as well. Clear and 18 in Hobart at the moment, clear in Launceston 20, partly cloudy in Devonport and 18. First 3 months of this year, Kim, our weather here has been better than anywhere in Australia. Thank you very much.
You're so responsible, but yes, I agree, it has been settled. Could just do with some rain coming up. And that is all we have time for tonight. Thanks for joining us this Thursday. Good night, everyone.